Mitch McConnell went on Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace, and he's going to lay out the plan of the Republicans coming up for the next debt ceiling fight.
11. I think for the president to ask for a clean debt ceiling when we have a debt the size of our economy is irresponsible. So we ought to discuss adding something to his request to raise the debt ceiling that does something about the debt, or it produces at least something positive for our country.
But you just heard Dan Pfeiffer say the president is where he is, and he's not going to bargain. He's not going to put something on the debt limit. The fact is, and, you know, they talk about the definition of insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. When you get in these crises, whether it's a government shutdown or a possible default, the public tends to side with the president. At a time when the president's numbers are low, when you've got Obamacare creating a lot of concerns about this president, you really want to get in a fight over the debt limit?
What we want to do is try to accomplish something for the country. And I think any president's request to raise the debt ceiling, whether this one or previous presidents, is a good opportunity to try to do something about the debt. And I think the president is taking an unreasonable position to suggest that we ought to treat his request to raise the debt ceiling like some kind of motherhood resolution that everybody just says aye, and we don't do anything when we have this stagnant economy and this massive debt created under his administration.
So are you saying right here, we are going to attach something to the debt ceiling, and if so, what?
What I'm saying is we ought to attach something significant for the country to his request to increase the debt ceiling. That's been the pattern for 50 years, going back to the Eisenhower administration. I think it's the responsible thing to do for the country, and I think he's the one being irresponsible by saying, oh, just raise the debt ceiling. We're not going to do anything about the debt or anything else that's important to the country.
Any specific idea?
Keystone Pipeline. And there are some job-creating steps that he could take right now. He could approve the Keystone Pipeline. He could work with us on trade agreements. My party is much more interested in global trade than the Democrats are. If he would convince his own members, we can do some business on trade. And he ought to stop things like the war on coal in my state.
There's so much to get to there. First of all, I have to say, even I'm a little surprised that the Republicans, after the last 2 or 3 debt ceiling fights, are still coming back for more, when every single time they fight over the debt ceiling, they end up being the political losers. Because let me explain something to you. The way negotiation is supposed to work, one side wants something, the other side wants something. And then you have to come to a compromise in order to work it out. But this debt ceiling fight is it's not something you can negotiate over. Because raising the debt ceiling avoids default. Okay, raising the debt ceiling is about money we've already spent as a nation. If you don't raise it, then you're telling everybody who you owe money to, we're not good for it. That means that the full faith and credit of the United States government is diminished. It's abolished overnight. I mean, nobody's going to trust us. Okay, that sends us into a worldwide recession or depression. You can't just not raise the debt ceiling. So being that that's the case, it's not like it's just the Democrats who want to raise the debt ceiling. Democrats and Republicans know they have to raise it. So there's no bargaining power on the Republican side here. They're saying either give us something or we'll do the thing that both of us don't want to happen. Well, then you don't have any leverage. Then you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And this is the same thing that happened the last 2 times this happened. Now, furthermore, you heard his plan right there. He said, well, what we're going to try to get from the president is the Keystone XL pipeline, which will create, by the way, a grand total of 50 permanent jobs. Yeah, what a job creation thing you got going on there, man. What a great plan. These guys, this is the party, the Republican Party, that vetoed a bill that would have created over 1 million jobs, okay? Obama proposed it, the Democrats supported it, they vetoed that bill. But here he is saying our jobs plan is the Keystone XL, which will create 50 permanent jobs. That's not me saying that. That's a study from Cornell that said that. You know, the companies that were going to put up the Keystone pipeline said, oh, we'll create thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs. The second there was an independent analysis, they were like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Not to mention the fact that it would, all of the gas that comes out of our land, right, whether it's here or in Canada, all of that natural gas and oil, or, you know, the tar sands oil, as it's called, that doesn't actually, we don't get paid for it, even though it's our oil. It goes right into the bank account of the Koch brothers and right into the bank account of all of the multinational corporations that are going to take that oil, by the way, and send it overseas. They're not even going to sell it here in the U.S. So when they argue that, oh my God, this is going to increase domestic oil production and increase our oil independence, that's not true, because they're not going to actually take the oil out of the ground, pay us for it because it's our oil, and then we're going to use it here. No, they're going to take it out of the ground, put it in their own personal bank accounts, not give it to the American people, even though it's our oil, and they're going to ship the oil overseas. And then not to mention the environmental disaster from this. It increases the carbon footprint of the nation, which adds to global warming. And then even if that's not a compelling reason for you, okay, what about the fact that where they have the original Keystone pipeline in Canada, there's downwind from where they, do all the extraction and then ship it out, the cancer rates are through the roof. So what we're dealing with here is it would increase pollution tremendously, increase cancer rates, it would increase greenhouse gas emissions, it would only create 50 permanent jobs, and it would be, all the money would go directly into the bank account of the Koch brothers. Yeah, what a great idea this is, but this shows you where the Republican priorities lie. And then he said, oh, or we could do the TPP. Wonderful. So, or we can do another version of NAFTA and GATT and the WTO, and you put it on steroids, and you sit back and you watch all of the middle-class jobs in the U.S. get destroyed. I mean, we already had most of them destroyed after NAFTA, but now you want to do more of that. I mean, this shows you that the Republicans, they don't care about the average guy at all. The only people that they're interested in helping are the business owners that fund their campaigns, the CEOs and the owners of the huge multinational corporations that they're buddy-buddy with. That's it.